Hey everyone, how's it going? So what am I working on now? I have a 2009, it's an oddball, a 2009 Kia Borrego. You heard me right, a Kia Borrego. It's a 1 year only vehicle here in the United States. I'm assuming they made them in other countries, or for other countries, maybe Mexico, maybe Middle East stuff, something like that. But anyway, this is an American vehicle, or made for an American vehicle. Customer's complaint is this. It got towed in. It actually got towed in a week ago. And a customer's complaint was that they think they need a transmission. Okay. It won't go into drive. Or it goes into drive and nothing happens. It can't move forward. But it backs up fine. Okay. So I got in it, and the first thing I noticed was this. And I already fixed this. I started to make a video on this, but it kind of went this way and that way and the other way, and I just deleted it. It just didn't work out. So I figured I'll show you from this point. What I found was this. Let me show you. So this is the shifter bezel. Okay. Now, I already replaced it. This is the new one. And if you look down there, you see that piece where the gate is that allows you to shift, neutral, drive, reverse, stuff like that? Okay. This was that piece down inside there. See how it's not in there right now? So I saw this and I was thinking, okay, well, this is hanging the whole thing up and keeping it from going into drive, because it really was. It was keeping it at about that point there. So I got a new bezel, obviously, and I replaced it. Just now I actually replaced it. But I knew that that wasn't going to be the complete problem. How did I know that? I took the bezel off and I tried shifting it on my own. Or shifting it with a lever without the bezel in place. And what I discovered was this. Now check this out. Alright, so we're going to start this up. So it's in neutral, right? There it's in drive. See the engine revs up? Doesn't go anywhere. I'm in the shop. Doesn't go anywhere. However, now it's in gear. Now it'll go forward. So what the heck is going on there? See that? So it goes neutral, drive, but it's actually not in drive. I actually have to slam it to get it into drive. Okay, so we're going to leave it in neutral for right now. So what the heck is going on there? I'll show you underneath. There's actually a pivot that has two bushings in it, and I think the bushings wore out. I didn't take it apart, but just by how everything moves around, I think that's the entire problem. This was a problem, and that's a problem. I'm actually surprised that the parts were available, readily available, right through Kia Hyundai. So we were able to get the parts from them, and now I'm back working on it now. So let me get this thing up in the air. I actually like this vehicle. I'm pretty impressed by it, to be honest with you. It's like a little smaller than a Tahoe. It's a rear-wheel drive. Front engine, transmission, rear differential. And it's pretty substantial, too. I was actually kind of impressed with what I saw underneath here. I've never seen one before. It's the first one I've ever noticed. I'm sure I've seen them on the road and just never paid attention to them, because they kind of look like a Kia. What is their big SUV? Well, basically mid-size. What is that, a Kia Sorento? And it kind of looks like that. You know, it's very unassuming from the outside. That's probably why they didn't sell, because it just looks like everything else. I mean, most cars look like everything else nowadays, but this one really does take the bland box and check it off big time. So let me get this thing up in the air. I'm going to show you what I found underneath, and we're going to put new bushings in this thing. Because like I said, everything was available, so, which kind of surprised me. But it turns out all the parts for this thing there's like a 9-year span. So that tells me 9 years that these parts are available for this vehicle. Either they use the same parts in other vehicles, or this vehicle is introduced somewhere else. This is very Middle Eastern to me, this vehicle, or Mexican, South America, stuff like that. So just what I'm thinking. So, all right, let's get this up in the air and let's go from there. Okay, so up underneath this thing, like I said, it's a pretty plain looking vehicle. It's kind of like a cross between a F-150 nose and a Kia Sorento. Anyway, up underneath this, so here's engine tranny, rear differential. That's a pretty substantial rear differential too. I mean, that's a pretty good sized unit there. And amazingly enough, you can get these with a V8. This is a V6, but you can get them on a V8. I wonder how they would do with a LS swap, or a Hellcat swap, or a Coyote swap. Pretty interesting. Anyway, so back underneath, the thing that I noticed was this. That's the cable coming in on the top there, and this is the piece that goes to the shifter. But see that? All that slop that's in that thing? I'm pretty confident that's what's keeping this thing from shifting the right way. So I'm going to pull this apart, which it might be difficult for me to film and show you at the same time. What I'm going to probably do is just take that whole thing out and then fix it on the bench. So it should just be this clip. There's an upper clip, there's a 14 there, and a 14 there. I think that's it. There might be another one there somewhere, I don't know. All right, let me start taking that apart, and then I'll show you. So there you see it with the cables and linkages off. I mean, that literally took me nothing. I did it with my fingers. So now I got those 14s I got to take out, and there's a third one up there. So I'll take those 14s out, and then I should have this thing on the bench. Okay, so I got it out. I got it here on the bench. And as you can see, there's like no bushing in there. So let's take this apart. I actually have it on my toolbox in one of the drawers, just easier for me at this point. The weather's terrible, and it affects my arthritis, and as you already know, I have a bad back and a bad knee, so I'm falling apart here. All right, let's do this. Let's get you set up here. All right, so now all I'm going to do is I'm going to unzip this. Take this apart, and there are no bushings at all in here. They have disintegrated. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take, this is probably, that's probably bushings. All right, let me wipe this thing down. I'm going to move it back a little bit. I'm going to wipe this thing down and clean it up. See, there's junk in there too. I'd be willing to bet it's just, the bushings just dry rotted and fell apart. All right, let's clean this up. So all I'm really going to do is just take a rag, stick it through, and just clean out whatever junk might be collected in there. That's good enough. It doesn't have to, I don't have to go bananas. I don't have to go crazy. Same with this here. I just want to get the junk out of it, that's all. See? Perfectly fine. All right, and I wiped this off already. So what we're going to do is put the booty back on. There's a little lint on there. Put the booty back on. I'm just going to use brake lube, in all honesty. Brake lube is very good for stuff like this. I just want a little excess in there. That's all. So now, these are the bushings, right from Kia. And see, they even have the new Kia emblem on it, telling you that they still use these on something. So you should just insert like such. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little lube on the inside of this, even though it's probably not going to affect anything because of the divot in there. But I'm going to insert this bushing. Now you see how the bushing is sitting raised up? I'm just going to get it to, I'm just going to roll it in place. That's all, with this little acid brush. Just roll it in place, get it where it needs to be. A little more lube. And like I said, you don't have to go bananas. So now, you put this all back together and make sure that the booty is fitting right. I can't tell if it is. Actually, I may. Yeah, see the bushing came out. I may be better off putting the booty on here first and then getting it installed over that. Okay, and just like that, that's pretty much it. I could have probably done this in the car, but it was easier for me to show you this way. And that's it. And now it's nice. It's good and tight. It's good and tight. There's nice movement to it, and there's no slop. All right, let's get this installed on the car. Did I actually install that backwards? I might have installed that backwards. Hang on a second. Let me just double check. Meaning, if I installed it backwards, meaning this part was supposed to be up here, like the arch is supposed to face backwards. Let me just double check. Hang on. And yes, it does go the other way. That's what I was just thinking. It's actually a good thing I make videos sometimes. I actually messed that up. Alright, so let's get this out of here. And all we're going to do is flip it. Just make sure your bushings stay in place. Then we're going to flip it around. Get that down in place. Put this stuff on. Okay, there is a rubber booty that fits over this that I took off in the truck. And if you notice, see this stuff? It's like it had some kind of a rubber washer or dum-dum, or unless it's just, yeah, I don't know what that was initially, but it kind of all fell apart. But there's stepped washers inside. Can you see those? Oops, see those in there? There's stepped washers just to center this thing. So any bolts go through with a stepped washer. So, all right, let me get this installed, and then I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so, oops, hold on. Okay. Here we are, all back in place, and as you see, there is no play, no movement in there. So now, I can put, if I can reach it, hold on. Ugh, sorry. I can put this little protective booty back on. There. But yeah, I'm confident that's the whole problem. All right, let's let this down. Make sure it shifts okay, and then we're going to take it for a road test. So here it is from the outside, in case you're wondering what a Kia Borrego looks like. Yeah, it's a little bit smaller than a Tahoe. Obviously bigger than like an Escape in that, but you know, the older Escapes. But anyway, just wanted to show you that. So let's hop in it. Shut this light off. All right, so now how positive is this? Yeah, right into gear. Feels good. Oh, perfect. Okay. And it's like a nice definite click. Whereas before, even if you did it lightly, you hear it, and you may even be able to see it. How it just goes nicely into gear. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So now I had road tested it first when I first did all of that, just to verify that the transmission actually did shift, and it did. But I'm going to take it for another ride now. I want to make sure everything's working good. So let's get going. Well, let's head over to Mexico or something. Okay, so over here in Mexico, everything feels great. It shifts perfect. This thing has 201,200 miles. Customer said they have never had a problem with this car. They bought it new, never had a single problem with it. They said everything on this car is original, except, you know, normal maintenance items. Never had a major failure, nothing. So 201,000 miles, I guess you can't knock that. That's pretty darn good. So, all right, that's kind of it. Yeah, hopefully you got something out of that. If you did, hit that like button. If you could, please subscribe. Basically, don't overlook certain things. Like this, had those bushings not been worn, I think the whole major problem was probably this shifter gate piece. So don't overlook certain things, because certain things can bite you if you're not paying attention. So, all right, that's pretty much it. Have a great day. Keep wrenching.